Matariki this weekend, as we've mentioned earlier, and honestly, not everybody is as enthusiastic about it. I know that certainly listeners to this show and, the viewers to Shine TV have some genuine spiritual concerns about Matariki, whether or not this is consistent with a Christian worldview and whether or not it is something that Christians should be acknowledging or celebrating, or is it a little bit of a pick and mix? That some bits are okay, but other bits we need to be cautious on. Joining us on the program now is the National Director of the New Zealand Christian Network, Rev Dr Stuart Lange. Stuart, kia ora, thanks for joining us today.
Kia ora, ngā mihi nui kia tātou katoa.
When it comes to Matariki, there has been a bit of pushback, and honestly, it's the new one, isn't it? It's the one that we're still getting used to. What does this mean? How does this sit with our existing traditions and faith traditions? Is this consistent, or is this something which Christians shouldn't participate on? Now, you've written a challenging and, a thought-provoking article. Well, you and a team of people actually from the New Zealand Christian Network have put this together, and I would encourage people to check that out at the New Zealand Christian Network website. We'll have details on that at the end. But if you could start, Stuart, by giving us a summary of the major points of that article, please.
Well, just that there are, we should be quite open to the Māori New Year. I mean, we should be culturally generous and to have a public holiday based on that, that's fair enough, right?
Yep.
And also there are Māori Christian people who find their way through this, navigate through this, and remain very faithful. But the basic idea, so the good things like, looking at the stars and remembering those who've gone and looking ahead and the seasons, all that's all good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's more the spiritual or religious component to it.
Yeah.
The ceremony of Hautapu is an offering of gratitude to the stars, and Matariki, literally looking into the eyes of the Ngā Atua of the gods. So this really is in tension very much with we being monotheists and being, thou shalt have no other gods before me, before the one true and living God. Now, so that's the issue.
Now,
right?
the headline and one of the key points of the article is that this aspect of Matariki, and as you say, not all of it, but this key aspect of Matariki is in conflict actually with the first commandment that God gave Moses in the book of Exodus, that we shouldn't fail to recognise that. This is an important thing to get right.
Absolutely. We are inescapably monotheistic. And the enthusiasm of secular agencies and the government and government departments and play centres and preschools and schools to promote this in I think a rather spiritually undiscerning way. That is concerning. So we need to, as Christians, to work out to what extent we do mark this, and if we do get involved, how do we remain both culturally open and generous, but also remain absolutely uncompromisingly monotheistic, acknowledging God alone. That is the challenge.
Now, recognising that a lot of what happens through official state programs, that there'll be various dawn services and events happening at marae and through government institutions and through schools, which is concerning, I know, to many people, will be specifically talking about the Māori spirituality, the gods of the old world, the atua, if you like, and saying prayers or karakia to these old gods, and even giving thanks and sacrifice to these old gods. I suppose thinking of parents of children that are involved with this, that are deeply concerned about the spiritual implications, what advice would you give to them, Stuart?
Well, I think we need to be very prayerful and discerning about this. I mean, how can we even go there with acknowledging those other deities? I just don't think we can do that without going into very wrong territory. So I think we need, for kids, we need to explain again that these are not deities. They don't represent deities. As Genesis 1 makes it very plain, they're just things in the sky that give us light.
Yeah.
And they're given by God, who created the heavens and the earth.
You talked about the importance of grace in this situation, and whilst we're sharing with people who perhaps have other faiths and other traditions that we do, in the same way that if we invite somebody into our house, they will politely sit there as we give thanks to for the meal to God, to the God that we serve. And that might not be their faith, but they're polite and don't storm out of the room. I suppose extending that same grace to people who may have different faith, different traditions, to us, is there a place for grace and compromise in this, or should we not be involved with anything that involves karakia to the atua, the stars of the sky?
Well, I think we've got to make our own call on that.
Yeah.
But we just felt it right to express this note of caution and to re-emphasize that there is a line that we can't really cross as Christians.
Yeah.
Whether we're in the same space as people who are doing that or not is something that we have to work out. I mean, there are lots of situations where Christians are in context with unbelievers or believers in other faiths, and so on. And we are not participating, but we are behaving humanly and kindly, in a kindly way to those folk. But whether we put ourselves in a situation where those prayers have been offered. I mean, in our own local area, there's a marae that's doing a whole tapu ceremony. Well, would we go to that? This is the question.
And hey, in that situation, would it be possible spiritually? And as you say, we need to discern this for ourselves. Would it be possible, as other people are saying their prayers that we don't agree with spiritually, we could say our own prayers to the God who created the stars and worship the Creator, not the creation? And would that be something that people might be comfortable with, Stuart?
I think there'll be a range of understandings there, and we're not wanting to be prescriptive, but simply to say, hey, hang on a minute, just be aware that this is a really serious issue, that Christians do not cross themselves over any line into honoring any gods other than the one true and living God, revealed in nature, in the scriptures, and in Jesus Christ.
Interested in your thoughts on whether there's a place for the church finding a way of incorporating Matariki in a way which is consistent with the Christian faith into liturgy. Say, for example, a church may decide to have its own Matariki celebration, which is called a Matariki celebration, but is 100% consistent with Christian beliefs and values. What would you say to that idea? Is that a positive way of balancing things, or does that just muddy the waters a bit, Stuart?
Well, no, I think that's quite possible. If Christians did that and thought, well, how can we honor the new year, a Maori New Year, in a way that is culturally appropriate, but also totally consistent with Christian faith. And of course, we've got to remember that, between 60 and 90%, and I think it's more of Maori were Christian in the mid-19th century. And that's why Matariki declined. So it is possible to be very thoroughly Maori and thoroughly Christian. And Maori Christians have worked that all through. But I think there's a naivety in a lot of secular people, and it's kind of fashionable and encouraged now to get into Matariki. And we're just saying, look, if we do that, we need to be very discerning about what we do, the attitude. Just think about the theological, the spiritual the belief aspects of it.
And if you are involved, be culturally appropriate without cultural appropriation, of course. Now,
all of that.
As a good first step, I would certainly encourage people to read the article. Now, this article has been published twice. There's been a revised edition in response to some feedback that's been received. Both of those articles available on the New Zealand Christian...
They will be going live. Some more comments and a republishing of the article this afternoon on the through New Zealand Christian Network. So it'll be on the website in due course, pretty quickly.
Yep.
But it'll also NZCN News, which if you just Google that, you can sign up for it. If you don't get it, it's coming out this afternoon. Or possibly even before lunch.
Yeah, so. Well, I would encourage people to do that. A wonderful way to be informed about issues affecting the broader church in Aotearoa, New Zealand, on these and other issues. The New Zealand Christian Network website, and people can subscribe to the newsletter from there as well. Stuart, thank you for the work you do. Thanks for joining us today.
Kia ora.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.